YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and I am in the patch 15 beta, or Emperor Edition as I think is going to be officially known. And I am going to get some online battles here, and this was from a battle list a player was hosting in the beta patch. So I was able to get in and actually try some online stuff. So you're going to see that my army composition here is going to be wildly different than what you would have seen in a past online battle. And actually, I really like the online battles now, like a lot. Personally, I think they're great. They last longer. The units have slightly different behaviors, so you have to get used to those. And tactics have to change just a little bit based on the fact that the combat takes longer. And then units have been rebalanced to where each unit, I think, plays a little more role, whereas some units in the previous patches didn't play hardly any role. I think it's been improved a great deal. One of the units that actually plays a very nice role, and I hate to give away my secrets here, but I mean it's going to become pretty common knowledge pretty fast anyway, is that Javelin Cav is actually really good against heavy melee Cav, and also probably against Shock Cav too. It's kind of a new mechanic you're going to see, I think, in some of the battles online, until there may be like a meta build that comes out where people figure out that Jav Cav isn't really worth it, but right now I definitely think they're worth it. Carthage has access to both Numidian mercenaries and Numidian noble mercenaries, and the noble mercenaries are more expensive, but they kind of pack a 1-2 punch. They can hit you with the javelins and then kill you in melee, whereas these standard ones are a little cheaper and just pack a really high javelin attack at 41. So the idea is, and I'll go over the strategy here in a minute. So my main line is actually 6 late Carthaginian hoplites. Hoplites don't have a lot of killing power, but they have staying power in this patch. So that's why I'm using them. I'm using on my flanks Libyan infantry to support the flanks, and then I brought 3 Cretan archers, which is the max that can be brought with Carthage. Then my cavalry is 2 Scutari Cav on this flank, which have been made much more viable in this patch. They do have still fairly low armor compared to other heavy Cav, but this is a very sturdy Cav unit now. And then I've got 2 Carthaginian Cav on this side, so I'm mixing Carthaginian troops with them. And native Carthaginians usually were in the cavalry, though the old Sacred Band unit was actually Carthaginians too. And then Hannibal had some actual Carthaginians in his army too, but usually they weren't the infantry contingent. So yeah, got the Carthaginian hoplites. Yes, I mean these have probably been Libyans in real life, but I mean it doesn't matter whether it's exactly like real life. So my opponent has picked Pontus. He's got 5 pikes in a line. I believe 4 of them are bronze shields, and he's got 1 standard pikeman. That must be a new addition to Pontus, because I think they only had access to levy pikes and bronze shields. He's got 2 Pontic peltists. Now, heavy peltists have gotten an armor buff as well. They're still not very high attack, but these guys are not going to be easily killed. In fact, these will probably beat light cavalry in a melee engagement, and they've got very good missile attack too at 41. He's got 4 Noble Blood Cav, a Scythe Chariot, and 2 Pontic Swordsmen, one of which is where his general is at. So I have a skirmish advantage. My opponent has 4 Eastern Archers, but my 3 Cretan Archers can easily decimate them. Cretan Archers are very good. Eastern Archers actually have the same attack. I didn't realize that. Yeah, they have the same attack, but their shots per minute is lower, and the Cretan Archers have 40 armor, and the Eastern Archers only have 10. And that's why Cretan Archers will win the fight. And if you look, my guys have 7 shots per minute too. So they're going to get more volleys, and they're going to have more armor to withstand enemy archer fire. So my opponent has his pikes up front, spread very thin. Not a bad tactic for this patch, since the combat's a lot slower. The only danger with something like this is that had I brought sword infantry that had a whole bunch of javelins, I could have marched that infantry up right here and just let them unload the javelins and kill the pikes. But in this case, my Cretan Archers can do it. My opponent opens fire on my hoplites, and a lot of people think that Archers are going to be worthless in this patch since everybody's armor went up, but their attack went up, and so did their armor piercing. And I'm killing his pikes still fairly easily, and he actually starts getting a few kills on my hoplites, though I do think that this trade is going to go much better for me than it will for him, because his bronze shield pikemen are easier targets for my Cretans than my late Carthaginian hoplites are for his Eastern Archers. So let me kind of show you what my strategy is here. What I'm hoping to do is I want to punch a hole in a center, and once I punch the hole, I'm going to take some hoplites, breach the gap, and outflank his pikes, and then I'm going to bring this swordsman over here to try and keep this Pontic swordsman from being able to join a cav fight. My Numidian cav are going to weaken his noble cav, at which point I'm going to beat them with my Carthaginian cav. Over here, I'm going to keep my Scutari cav within the protective range of these Libyan infantry and just secure this flank. I'm hoping for a win up the center. Like I said, I'm going to try and bust through the center of the pikes here. So that's my strategy. We'll see how it works. I'm going to go into play, and you can see this is exactly what I want with my Numidian cav. I've already killed 10 Noble Blood cav, and that's a 750 talent cav unit. Very expensive, very good. And to be getting kills this quickly, so this is why javelins are good. Javelins can still get kills relatively quick on cavalry, and normally cav fights last very long nowadays. I mean, this unit's down to about half strength. So now I can start to try and threaten an engagement to his Noble Blood cav because I actually have some advantage. And notice how I'm keeping this mercenary Italian swordsman in the screening position. And here my hoplites are going to break through and try and get around here. But again, people thinking archers are worthless. Look at this. His combined archer fire is hurting my hoplites badly. And these are heavily armored, well-shielded men. So skirmishers are not at all gone in this patch. And so anybody who's kind of gotten that idea, you're wrong. And I don't mean that in a mean way, I'm just saying it's not right. I've numerous times in this patch seen missiles be very powerful because their attack did get raised. I don't think they're OP, but they're strong. And, you know, it's something to be aware of. So, I mean, look at that. He wasted my hoplites that came through there. So I'm now having to focus some archer fire, and I'm going to have to do a better job of getting around my opponent's flank. It's actually, because battles take longer, and conflicts take longer to resolve, you actually have to watch your micromanagement even closer. So a lot of people think this patch ruins micromanagement because things are slower. Again, I disagree, because the way you engage now is extremely important because the fights take longer, and so getting the right angle, getting the right formations is all very important and still takes a lot of micromanagement. So again, I don't see where this patch has made the game to where it doesn't require some micromanagement. The game is not a button masher, that's for sure. It's not just going to be like who can click the fastest, but it's definitely not void of micromanagement. As you can see, my opponent is having a hard time keeping his pikes in the right position. Over here, look what his Pontic Peltis did to my Carthaginian cav. Peltists are actually a decent counter to cavalry if you can get them in range. And then here I'm going to take my Numidian cav in, and this would have been a tough fight even before this patch, but these Pontic Peltists are just going to absolutely put the whip down on my Numidian cav because they have so much armor. But yeah, you can see up the center, I have accomplished what I want to. I'm able to outflank his pikemen, and if he turned his pikemen around to try and hit my hoplites, I'd just take my general into the back of him. Over here, again, he had to try and focus on this Carthaginian hoplite. I got into a hoplite phalanx, which means that my guys, if they don't win this fight, it'll be very, very close, while my Italian swordsmen got into the back of this pike unit, and they'll slowly wrap it up. And then over here, I'm just messing with the flank of this pike unit. And then back here, I've engaged his Noble Blood cav, but again, I kept them within the range of my Libyan infantry, who have now taken out of formation attack and let them join the fight. Melee cavalry is not near as good versus swordsmen as they used to be. Here, his side chariots actually do get a lot of kills in this battle. Side chariots are also not worthless now. It's just that you don't get big chain routes usually as early as you did in previous patches. So the side chariots, even though they'll kill a lot of men, for them to be decisive still takes some work. They are still hard to kill because they've got 105 health too, so I mean, very tough units. But you can see over here the cav fight is actually going to turn in my favor, and these Pontic Peltists are still giving me grief. So I have to keep sacrificing Numidian cav to try and keep them pinned down. And otherwise, though, I'm starting to win the fight over here, but my opponent's trying to use his chariots to counter this. He gets some kills on my Italian swordsman, but his pikeman's already taken quite a beating. And then he kind of tries to come through his own men right here, and you can see that they definitely get stopped on my pike phalanx. Yeah, over here again, I thought I was into the back of these pikes. I guess I have broken up their formation, and I've got my general ready for a rear charge. But I decided to bring the general over here for a rear charge on the Pontic general. I want to finish him off. But yeah, so there my Italian swordsmen pay off and destroy that pike unit. Then over here, his side chariot gets hung up on the front of my pike phalanx. Some of them are still roaming around back here, though, but two of them are definitely hung up. Pontic Peltis did take out my Numidian cav, but they will not take out my Carthaginian cav. So I get them pinned down so they can't throw any more javelins. And then here comes a really nice rear charge by my general. Spread out like that, even my general's bodyguard's going to get a really nice charge, and his infantry were very much pinned against my Libyans. So I get a lot of kills there with my general. And let's see. Over here, this fight's turning into my favor. I've got hoplites and Libyan infantry in there. Again, you can see how long a cav fight takes, even with infantry support. And we're going to talk more about what this means for multiplayer in some of my upcoming battles. I got to play 5 battles against this opponent, all of which were very fun. he was a good player. He and I were both learning here, and there's going to be a lot more learning to come. So just because you see me do something in these battles or him do something doesn't mean that that's going to be the definite way to win. Again, when the game changes, usually new meta game or meta builds have to emerge. People are going to find out how to game, how to be gimmicky. They're going to figure out how to boost themselves up a leaderboard. There's going to be all that kind of stuff going on. I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but I think, and I don't know this yet, I think it's going to be harder than it used to be, because you just can't get the quick knockouts now like you could in the past. Look at his chariots. 388 kills. Impressive. Very impressive. So his side chariots routed with almost 400 kills. So that was my first online battle in the Emperor Edition, and to be quite honest, I loved it. It was a lot of fun. Fun matchup, and so what worked for me here and what was kind of suspect. I think what worked for me, the Javelin Cav eating up some of his Noble Blood Cav, was definitely worth it, because it allowed me to put some more pressure on that flank for him. I didn't get any decisive rear charges from it, unfortunately, which was my goal, but it did allow my Carthaginian Cav to keep his Noble Blood Cav from getting to my archers or getting rear charges. Was it worth it in the end? It's hard to say. One of my Carthaginian Cav did quite well. The other got beat down by the Javelins. My Scutari Cav did well. They lived and killed. You can see they didn't kill a whole lot of Noble Blood Cav. It was my infantry that ended up cutting them down. Probably this Libyan infantry here, but you can see that the Noble Blood Cav got very few kills overall. So I was able to neutralize his Cav component for the most part. His chariots did a huge portion of his work, and he did good. He kept them moving. He didn't let them get bogged down for too long, and he got a lot of kills with them. But again, because of the morale being a lot higher, it doesn't create a chain route quite as easy. His archers did pretty well considering their price. I'd say they got a fair number of kills, but look, the Cretans here. This is why Cretans are capped. I know some of you are really mad at the caps on Cretans, and initially I was too. I didn't understand it. I thought that it was really going to hurt Sparta and Carthage. And in the end, maybe it does hurt them a little. I don't know. But I do know that these guys are potent, and you can see that I not only killed that unit of pikemen, but also whipped on his archers pretty bad with these Cretans. So I got a lot of kills with them, and they are definitely a good unit, so a cap on them probably isn't a bad thing. And then the cap on Carthaginian mercenaries seems pretty harsh, but honestly at the moment, with the way this patch is working out, I don't think that it's going to be a big deal, and those patches won't exist, or those caps won't exist in campaign, I don't think. So I don't think it's going to hurt anything. I mean, you can still bring 3 regular Numidian Cav, 2 of the Noble. Campanian Cav did get nerfed to 2, and a lot of people were really mad about this, but to be honest, sword-based cavalry, I don't know what to think of it in this patch. It has a really hard time versus infantry because all of them got an armor and health boost, and there's no more bonus versus infantry. I kind of think that the sword-based Cav on this game may need to get their bonus versus infantry back in order to have an identity. But then again, maybe they don't. I haven't played with them a whole lot yet. You'll get to see some battles with them soon, so keep an eye out for it. But yeah, and a lot of people think that shock cavalry is dead also. I believe that is not true at all. And again, this is early in the patch. I can't tell you the details. I'm just giving you my opinion based on what I see. Air, how do you know this? Watch for my next videos coming up. You'll see why I say some of the things I do. And as time unfolds and we learn the truth of things, I may have to change what I thought, or you may have to change what you thought, but that's the point of all of this. Hopefully you're here to learn, I'm here to learn, and have some fun, and hopefully bring you an entertaining battle. HeirofCarthage signing off for now.